Hey guys, finally the PS3, finally! Yeah, I am so excited because I've been wanting to make a PS3 hidden gems video for so long, but I just haven't played all of those unknown hidden RPGs. I have just played mostly the popular ones, the ones that everybody knows. And some of the following video games you may know already about them, I'm pretty sure about that, but some other people don't. So, well, I just can't wait. Let's get this over with. Let's begin with this video of the hidden gems for the PS3. Number 10. Adler ESCA and Logi, Alchemists of the Dusk Sky. The Adler series have become quite popular amongst RPG gamers. The Iris trilogy for the PS2 and the Arlen trilogy for the PS3 are both good examples of that. But what about the Dusk trilogy? I know for a fact that Adler ESCA, which was the first one, is pretty well known. But as for the other two, turns out they're both rare, hard to find games nowadays. Was it because the Arlen trilogy was more focused on alchemy and synthesis, and the Dusk trilogy was more inclined to battle and action? I don't know, but what I do know for sure is that Adler ESCA and Logi deserves more attention and perhaps even more fame than all the others. I personally found ESCA to be an okay game, but I then found a huge difference between it and this one. I felt the story here more compelling, the game more addictive, and the overall battle system far greater. So if you're into the Adler games and haven't played this one, well, I strongly suggest you do it now. It's way better than all the others, in my opinion. And so, naturally, the next on the list will have to be Adler Shally, Alchemists of the Dusk Sea. Now, if there's one game that could be slightly superior to the previous one, is the third in the Dusk trilogy, Adler Shally. I say slightly because in terms of story, characters, gameplay and music, they're both equally good. But I don't know why I felt the battle system here more complete, a little better than the other. Perhaps it was because this game is the third in the trilogy and therefore could be considered as the epitome in terms of battle system of all. The thing is, these two trilogies are easy games, known for their original structure of combining several different gameplay elements like synthesizing items and fighting on consecutive combos. They may not be attractive in terms of story, since they all have a really cheesy and cliché one, but if we focus on their gameplay, especially the battle system, in my opinion, they're all great games. Number 8. Ragnarok Odyssey, ACE or ACE. This game became really popular when it first came out, but it was only a few months later when people began forgetting all about it. Perhaps it will be a good candidate for one of my forgotten JRPGs videos. I think the reason is that this game, an action RPG, kind of a Phantasy Star clone, led gamers to believe that it was online only and that the multiplayer experience was all that mattered. I am not against these arguments of that being the main point of the game, but playing it offline and by your own was also a great experience for me. The battle system feels satisfactory, the graphics are nice and the customization is great. I know the gameplay might be repetitive because it's one of those games that are mostly based on quests and not story driven, but I definitely recommend it either way. It also came out for the PS Vita, like the two previous titles on this list, by the way. Number 7. Enchanted Arms. I've been defending this game since ancient times, I know. Some of you think it's one of the most mediocre JRPGs of the last generation, and I obviously disagree. The main criticism goes to the story and maybe the voice acting, which I found to be okay. Not great, but not terrible. The story, well, yeah, it's not that original, the characters are a little forgettable, but damn is the rest good. The gameplay is your classic adventure type RPG, the music is nice, the graphics are quite decent for being one of the first RPGs to come out for the PS3. I think it was the first, but I'm not too sure. It also came out for the Xbox 360. The thing is, in my opinion, the battle system is what stands out here. It looks like a chessboard and your characters can move in squares, like in a strategy RPG, that involves some tactical mechanics that bring out the experience to a whole new level. It can be sometimes extremely easy, but it can get really challenging in a fair sense during some boss fights. So it's a really cool game, and I definitely not think it's mediocre. So that's why, in my opinion, it's a hidden gem. Number 6. Wizardry, Labyrinth of Lost Souls. Wizardry, on the other hand, is arguable. All the criticism this game has is completely sustained. However, I still think it's good enough to be considered as a hidden gem. It's a first-person dungeon crawler based on quests with a very beautiful art. The battle system is a classic one for these types of games, nothing new or innovative, but still cool in its own sense. Reviewers mainly criticize the story, which is very forgettable. Then there's no auto map. Nope, you have to buy the maps and then manually bring them up during the game. Finally, the difficulty. Yes, it's brutal, like many other wizardry games, but the art itself, the variety of monsters, and also, most important of all, the characters for customization kind of make up for it. Also, a little insight on this game, it's a Japanese RPG that belongs to a cult following series from a studio that was called Sear Tech in the USA. They were such influential RPGs back in the early 80s, by the way, but this title is a spin-off and, like I said, made in Japan. It is digital only and also for the PS Vita. Next is Record of Agarest War 0. So coming up, more very difficult games, brutal as well, that are mostly based on exploiting the excellent battle system they have. Record of Agarest War is a trilogy of strategy RPGs, very underrated, but also a little infamous for being way too long, way too hard, and also heavily sexualized like many other Idea Factory games. If you don't like grinding, or if you're not into quirky, weird stories, yeah, then you might want to skip this game. This one, however, is the shortest of the three, and it's the prequel to the first Agarest, which came out before. There are 2 generations of characters, and the story progression actually depends on your relationship with the heroines, also like many other Idea Factory games. The battle system is based on combos, which you can add up with one character or several others to perform their attacks and cause massive damage. But in any case, like I said before, you really need to be into tactical, grinding-based RPGs to actually enjoy these hidden gems. Now let's talk about the first game, Agarest Generations of War. Both games came out also for the Xbox 360 and they're all called Record of Agarest War. However, the PS3 version of the very first of the three never reached North America, hence the different name. Here we got the 360 version only, so to play this game you'll need the PAL version, which is the one I played, or the one for Windows. This is the epic first Agarest that's one of the longest JRPGs in the history of video games. It spawns 5 generations of characters, each one lasting for about 10 hours or so. That sums up 50 hours of gameplay plus the time you will have to spend grinding and synthesizing weapons and armor, because this game is also very hard. It gets harder each time with each generation, so you're gonna have to prepare each generation from the very beginning. Now, in terms of story, gameplay, and battle system, well, since it's the original, I should be saying that not much changed in the previous title of this list. Here you recruit the heroines, choose one to marry and have a kid with, then that kid becomes the next protagonist, and so on. So it's a pretty solid and somewhat original strategy RPG, and also very sexualized. Number 3, well, it's the sequel. Now this sequel is extremely different than the last ones. Yeah, you're witnessing right now. As you can see, you walk around the map now in a free mode, and you get into random encounters. The battle system is slightly different than the other two. It's still a strategy game, but the layout is now in a 2.5D environment. Your attacks depend mostly on the damage you make by repeatedly clicking the X button, which makes you kick the crap out of your enemies, abusing the system in a more addictive way, actually. The game is still very hard. Obviously, I mean, take a look right now and see how the enemies can also execute these same commands. and kick your ass. Other changes were that now you only have 4 party members during battle, there are only 3 generations, it uses HD sprites instead of standard ones, minigames that involve the PS Move and so on. So it's like an entirely different experience, but still belonging to the same universe and overall plot. On a final note, this is the only one of the trilogy that didn't come out for the Xbox 360. Now, is it any good? It is great, actually. I still prefer the original Agarest War, but this one doesn't stay behind at all. Great video game, totally a hidden gem. Number 2, Tears to Tiara 2, Hair of the Overlord. I haven't played much of Tears to Tiara, but I am loving it so far. Again, it's another strategy RPG, the last one I promised, that looks like all those old-fashioned ones, but it's not. The innovation here goes around the skill points, leveling up, and the situational conflicts your characters can get into during battles, depending on their locations. The story is very cliché, told like in a visual novel style, and a little sexualized but enjoyable nonetheless. Music, graphics, and gameplay overall are far from being top-notch, but they're still nice either way. The thing about this game is that it's so rare that it doesn't even have its own Wikipedia. If you search for it, you will encounter the first Tears to Tiara, which was an adult strategy RPG for Windows. Yeah, you heard that right. Then a remake for the PS3 that we never got, with all the adult content removed now. And then its sequel. So understanding this game might take a huge while, but nevertheless, it's an excellent RPG and totally a hidden gem. Finally, Trinity Souls of Seal O, number 1. What a name, huh? Well, it's an action RPG, one of those best quest-driven, made by Tecmo. Koei Tecmo, actually, with a little Musou style like their Dynasty Warriors games. Now this, my friend, is a very addicting, excellent JRPG that may not have a great story or characters, but it has a very cool soundtrack, nice graphics, and a battle system that blows my mind. I'm not gonna say it's very original or unique or something like that, since it's not, but it just takes all of those great elements we like from many other action games, especially hack and slash ones. The satisfaction from going around, jumping, and hitting your enemies is awesome. You control 3 main characters, and you can switch anytime, at any place, between them, each one with their own personal skills that can help greatly during battle. And lastly, the Trinity combo they all make to unleash on your enemies, especially on bosses. So man, this game may not be, I don't know, Nier or any Tales of, but it is still a great experience. Hey guys, the PS3 is my second favorite console for RPGs, hell, even for all kinds of video games. I love the PS3 with a passion, not more than PS2. But like you just saw, it has so many great games, so many wonderful hidden gems, and there's enough material for more, but I just need to play them first. So stay put, keep waiting for the next video for part 2, because there will be a part 2 of hidden gems, and also one of those unknown videos for the PS3. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.